definitely no egg hitter if they go for Phoenix. Timber's just absolutely dreadful at dealing against Phoenixes. Plus, you get a natural vessel carrier as well if you have a Phoenix in your draft. I'm gonna go for Willow. Kind of like the Willow pick here. Yeah. I like the Willow pick. I feel like it adds a bit of aggressiveness. Really a full commit type of hero where Willow really just wants to go in, cause mayhem, get some good setups. We've seen some, me and my English, a couple of very aggressive Bedlams just going full on Shadow Realm Bedlam into the enemy front line and just causing a lot of havoc there. But an instant Medusa though.
Yeah, exactly. And you bring this up, right? The Dark Willow is rather aggressive if she wants to be. She really wants to go in and, ooh, there's the Lina now. So we've had this specific matchup before where if the Lina does not ramp up fast enough in her damage dealing, and especially if she does not get to just fully lay into the Medusa, you're going to run into trouble eventually. I do like this hero core with a lot of protection, but right now there is no such thing on the lineup yet. The Luna is also a hero that kind of needs to be protected. It's also a hero that needs to deal so much damage that the enemy can't get to her before she's already killed him. So yeah, you can see Team Empire immediately with the Underlord removal here.
That's a good ban.
Yeah, the other one that I'd like to see removed is the Mars. For either side, by the way, that would be such good protection. For either the Medusa or the Lina, with the Bulwark diverting the range attacks. It looks like Unique probably wanted for themselves though, they ban out the Kunkka instead.
Yeah, I guess the Kunkka is just an overall big nuisance here. A lot of squishies on Team Unique side. Easy for the Kunkka to kind of reposition, set up with the torrent on the boat and basically just quickly evaporate anybody out of action, especially if you play a 2 Kunkka who ramps up in damage quite early, actually. Plus, the boat is very good against Laguna Blade, soaks up some of that damage, or slows down the damage input with the rum buff. That literally makes Medusa kind of like an immortal hero.
10 seconds to pick.
Yeah, that's a very important point you bring up there. That would be so hard for Team Unique with all of their burst damage to chew through these 2 tanky heroes. And right now they need to pick up another frontliner, but so many of them, or I should say their first and only frontliner, so many of them have already been taken out.
Yeah, you've got 4 range heroes in your team, so a lot of mobility is needed. Not the most easiest lineup to execute as well, and like you love to say, Kips, ease of execution. It's definitely not for Team Unique right now, especially with the Mars band, the Underlord band. There's no puck to kind of hold them in place. They need to have either an engage, disengage hero. I'm thinking Centaur at this point, but Centaur, if not picked, they need to have an Axe-like type of hero. Axe was already banned in the first phase, so something similar. They need a strength hero. If they don't, I don't know. I honestly don't know what it could be if it's not a strength hero. Well, they're running out of time.
There.
You have a stun, but not necessarily the hero I was looking for. I have mixed feelings with this SK pick. Yes, it's the strength hero I was looking for. It has a frontliner. It has a stun, but he's not exactly the type of hero to hold the enemy in place unless everything connects with the root from the Willow, the LSA from Lina to follow up from that, the SK with his Burrow Strike, Luna with Lucent Beams with the mini stuns. So many things need to click, and this is all kind of single target in a sense. This is very single target heavy for Unique.
Yeah, I mean, you have the big ultimates coming out from the Ancient Apparition, the Luna, the Sand King, but you're completely right in that this lineup, once it's committed, it's committed. You have all of these squishies that are going to be in a position where they have to cover each other, and if you start moving in a team fight, you're not necessarily going to be able to do that anymore. You gotta chase your targets. So, if Team Empire manages to make a stand, they can blow Team Unique out of the water.
Yep. And they're gonna bring out a Magnus, so a tiny bit of extra team fight added into the mix. And so it is that Team Empire with Timbersaw, Magnus, 2 frontlining heroes, got some setups, got some aggressive push, and most importantly, I think the mobility enables this Medusa quite a lot.
Absolutely. There is a little bit of extra farming speed as well. In general, this is a very hard lineup to engage into if you're team unique. You're going to have the Hoodwink with all of the reactive abilities. You're going to have possibly the heals from the Enchantress if you don't land the AA ult, right? And you need
Yep.
somebody to go in if you want to land a good AA ult. You need to have vision already. So Ghostic is constantly going to be playing with his own life here as they go into the Medusa, which you have to disengage from if she presses her ult, with the Timbersaw, who's going to survive way longer than you'd like him to, and of course with the threat always of an RP coming in once you're grouped up and fully engaged. So I gotta say, Team Empire looks a little bit more passive here. They're going to put on more economic pressure. It's going to be Team Unique chasing after this Timbersaw whenever he pushes down towers. But
Yep.
at the same time, I do really favor them here.
Same thing. I agree with you. I'm jumping on Team Empire here. The same reason. I think Timber is not going to enjoy his time in this game, but he's playing a sacrificial role in here. He kind of has to. Needs to keep the map pressure going on, enable some map control by taking down those early towers until Team Unique starts to turn their attention towards the Timbersaw, shutting him down, and then grouping up towards the first team fights where the Medusa's gonna have to start taking part. And this is our first game of the day, so ladies and gents, get yourselves ready because the Eastern European Brawl, it continues, and another team is about to fall out from this tournament. We've already seen 4 teams fall out from this tournament so far. 2 more are about to follow suit. We've said goodbye to No Tech East, Trident, Windstrike, Bait, Extremum, and Gambit as well. And as mentioned, 3 of the upper bracket teams have fallen out. It is Unique who's the final of the starting teams from the upper bracket in the lower end. And this is gonna mean, wait, the loser of this match finishes 7th to 8th. So there's still a long way to go.
Oh yeah, we're barely halfway here.
Even though it is our 2 final series here, casting in the Eastern European Series, but definitely, as mentioned, the road has only begun, especially for many teams. And one road we will not see is Dendy and TI. I will forever cherish those memories, but we have to find someone else to be the hero this time. However, Unique with that 5-man smoke. They did take over Empire's side of the map, but Empire, I love it how they're sitting around their mid tower. I think this was also another play for the mid observer ward and hopefully catch someone. This is probably something from their scrims where they expect the mid ward to show up, and also playing defensive at the same.
And since they've already been established as sitting in mid, now they move up to steal the rune here, which is unexpected for Unique. They didn't think that they would spread out over here.
Yep.
Smiling Knight gets that one, but Siu takes quite a bit of damage.
Yeah, both stuns connecting is a nasty one. And 5 seconds. Is it going to be enough? 3 to go. It's going to be enough. The sneaky snake from Smiling Knight. And Vanscore picks up first blood for the Enchantress. So good starting dosh to get off with Team Empire's feet. FN has a bounty rune to be grabbed as Empire was busy with that kill. But it also means that Depressed Kid does start off with 1 deny once he has picked up.
And of course, this is not quite a favorable matchup for this Magnus here. He's going to get a lot of harass tanked. But this Lina needs to be careful that she does not get skewered back. I have seen entire lanes lost to this. So FN has to play more careful here.
Yep. Ghost Stick getting slowed up again. Bit of damage from that level 1 snake. Already down to half HP. Has been prepared for this lane with 4 tangos at least. Willow also picking up 6. So they're expecting to take a lot of harassment from these double range heroes of Empire. Looking at the top lane, Slayer. A bit of beating here from Petushara. On the positive side, Petushara, who does not have reactive armor yet, kind of allows this AA to work to the fullest here at the start.
You can get a lot of damage in on that guy before he has the reactive armor, but of course at level 3 he becomes quite a lot harder to deal with. And so, I think if he hits that...
Depressed Kid, hello? Hello? Oof. 25 HP. What, did you see that? No. That was very, very ambitious.
That was hella close. No, I was watching the Hoodwink make a cheeky play over on Palantimos on the top.
There's a lot of things happening for sure. I love it that they're really brawling at the start, but I think Depressed Kid really valued that early level 3 until he backs out from the lane. As actually Vanskar, he actually drops down in the bottom lane. I went to the top lane to look at the situation there because they were fighting right in front of the tower. But a bit of revenge for the Willow.
Yeah, and a bit of pressure throwing out onto Smiling Knight here. It's really going to have to be the Willow that does a lot of work in this lane. She's the strongest hero here by far. And yeah, Smiling Knight has to be careful for his HP. Luckily, she just wants the creeps this time.
Yep, and most importantly, keep those snake connections so that you always have mana available. If you're out of mana, that means no snake. That means you're very much more vulnerable. It's like 150% decrease for a Medusa if you have no mana available. Even for that one snake, which can keep you up a little bit longer. Seiyu. Couple hits from Palantimos and Slayer. Hoodwink is one of those squishies. You've got 4 armor, but the majority of the damage is magical from the Luna and the AA, so easy to drive that pesky squirrel out of the way.
Yep, and she is most likely going to look for a roam on mid later, but what she doesn't know is that she's already being watched by this ward.
Depressed Kid with a skewer, gets FN under the tower. Bit of harassment here, but FN standing his ground. Absolutely destroying this mid lane. Sorry for interrupting there. It was a
oh, no, not at all.
Interesting moment, because Lina's really, you know, basic melee versus range. 16 versus 9 in CS, and also steals the bounty rune from Empire's side of the map. So FN off to a great start.
Oh, no. Depressed Kid might just go walk back and look for that. After he's got his bottle returned to him.
Yep,
if he makes it that far.
She is not using the Dragon Slave. 100 HP and 160 damage after reduction should have been enough. But didn't want to use it. There was no Fairy Fire or anything on Depressed Kid, so... Still, keeping up some mana. Magnus is going to have to go base anyway. Lina gets a free lane for himself, or for herself.
This is pretty huge. This actually does mean that Seiyu does not have to rotate at all. They don't have to make sure that they secure this lane mid, because this Magnus is not going to do anything for the first 10 minutes of the game. Which means extra pressure over onto Palantimos and Slayer. With the Hoodwink, you can really put these heroes, and with the Timbersaw as well, of course, you can push this lane. You can shove this double range lane under the tower and dive them for kills onto Slayer predominantly, but maybe also onto Palantimos if he missteps.
Very true. Got to be careful with their movements here. They do have a decent amount of mana left. I think the Luna and the AA can still pull off one combo of their spells if they get everything to connect. Kind of hard to get the cold feet to go off when there's no proper lockdown available. The Lucent Beam mini stun isn't going to be enough unless there's going to be a lot of sidestepping from either Petushara, who just Timber chains away and it already removes the debuff. Same with the Hoodwink, a lot of movement speed. Plus, if you end up hiding in the trees, well, AA, all you can really do is just keep on throwing those snowballs at them.
Yeah, and I think it's a much better idea than trying to salvage that lane mid, which is... I'm sorry, Depressed Kid, but right now you're truly putting honor to your name.
Yep. But it is a Magnus. He can still farm pretty fast with the Empower if required. Most importantly, he just needs to get the levels without this Lina getting too much away with this current scenario. He's actually coming back as Seiyu's coming in with the Bushwhack. Here comes Depressed Kid, and he doesn't quite connect with the skewer. I heard the sound effect, but it didn't feel like it did anything to FN. He's just right-clicking away. Slayer is here to back up. LSA stunt. This might be a kill right here. Snowball connect with the Dragon Slave. 25 HP, but Lina has the superior right-click and 6 HP. 6 HP. And Depressed Kid, somehow he keeps his life.
Yeah, that's lucky, honestly. This is exactly why I think you don't go mid. There's nothing to get here. FN is completely outgunning you. And there is no way that Unique is going to let you get away with pressuring this lane now.
Closing up on the 5-minute marker. Bit of a battle here under the top tier 1 tower. Petushara bullying Palantimos. Getting nice damage with the Timber Chain. Also avoiding tower aggro by not actually right-clicking them, except for now he's just building up stacks. There's the Cold Feet. Instantly removed. Palantimos' Courier is dead. And here comes Seiyu looking for an angle. Palantimos knows he's there, but he still might get surprised. Looking for him, but Slayer seems to be the target. There's the connection as we speak. As Petushara gets cold feeded and Bignum comes in. They get the AA kill, but they will lose the Timber Saw. And I think that's a better trade for Unique because Palantimos lives.
Yeah, Palantimos getting to live there is actually huge. I think you can make that move earlier if, again, you have the Hoodwink over on the top lane. But the problem is not going away at the same time. Palantimos is still in a lane where this lane can once again get shoved under tower. The support TP can once again be forced, except, you know, Bignum doesn't actually have a TP scroll now anymore. There's no reason for Empire to back off.
Yeah, they are playing mid as 3. They are depriving this Magnus out of all action runes. As we see, there's a haste rune to be picked up on FN. Have to say, this ancient apparition looks like a real baller now.
Oh, he looks dead.
Ballers indeed onto the Magnus. You don't even need the help of your supports. It's just a quick route into a stun Laguna Blade and you're gone. This Lina is going to be an issue.
Oh yeah. At the very least, Yu is over here again, making sure that this catapult wave is not going to deal that much damage to the tower. But Unique really pressing their advantage here with this one lost lane, trying to distract Empire away from putting pressure, especially over on that top lane. Where, you know, as long as Petushar doesn't get any backup, maybe Palantimos gets to live. He gets to live now, at least.
Yep, realizes that can't overstay my own lane here, and this is where the Timber Saw is going to start pushing up the throttle, so to say. Put another gearbox level going on as that top tower should be falling in the minutes to come, unless Unique wants to really set up with 3 heroes. It would be the Willow, AA, and the Lina. Would all have to be there to shut down this Timber Saw, but I think they'll just let the tower go for now.
Mm-hmm.
And this is also something that Empire is probably reading right now is, do we anticipate Unique defending this top tower? Because usually you don't, you just let the Timber have it. But if they do decide to be smart, because they are 4 range heroes, sorry, they're 4 range heroes, all heavy magical damage, Timber can easily be killed. So they might just come up with more people, and there's Seiyu.
There's the damage.
They have the Hoodwink on the run, though. Bishara. Bignum is coming in as well. They doesn't quite get the root connection, but the Crown of Thorns is there. Slowly melting through this Timber Saw, but slowly and surely for sure. There's the magical damage burst thrown in. And FN 2-0, 38 last hits on the net worth. She is number 1.
Yeah, this is shaping up to be an FN game, and when FN plays right, he is an absolute battering ram. He is so hard to stop. This man will push his HP and mana pools to the limit. Unfortunately, that is also what gets him killed some of the times, especially in games where all of the pressure is on him. He has a tendency to overplay. So let's see if he can hold this game together this time, because it is his game to play right now.
It is. Depressed Kid,
So
the
far,
next casualty by the looks of it. Vanscore comes to the rescue. Allows Magnus to live a little bit longer.
Dire's top tower is being attacked.
Will deny Mr. Tomato.
And no more defense over on the top lane. They got their one Timber Saw kill. They had to spend 4 heroes for it. That was about enough. Petushara gets to have this one.
He is building himself a pipe for very understandable reasons. At least, or at least a hood. Not sure if he's going to go for the pipe all the way. It's not a bad pipe game either. I'll try to avoid my pipe rant, as Vanscore quickly picked off.
This looks like a pretty good time for a pipe rant, though, because this is the game where you'd want to pipe it inside, except that recipe is so expensive.
It sure is. I would use my pension on something else.
I don't know what I was expecting.
Also,
that's selfish of you, though.
I guess, I mean, yeah, that is actually true. If you don't buy the pipe, it literally means you're being selfish. It is an aura, after all. Looking at the Mask of Madness for Luna, are we going to see anything out of the ordinary in this build? Because there is the Medusa. So do we need to fight against Evasion? Are we going to see a potential MKB on Luna? Do we want to go for Ags? We saw that one Ags game where they tried to fight with the Eclipse, kind of. blowing through TA's refractions and all that.
I mean, not quite the same with the Medusa, but you definitely have situations where, especially if this many stuns on your team, you can blow the Medusa up if you make use of the orbital cannon. And again, this is a team, if they are forced to turn around because the Medusa gets the stone gaze off, they're in for a lot of hurt on Unique. They need to be able to continue putting out their damage. They can't actually look away. So I wouldn't be against it at all.
Another 3v1 situation as they have put Petushara on their sides. Epicenter, Ice Blast, Laguna Blade. And that should be enough for the right clicks from FN. This is, I did maybe mention in the draft, this is not a fun Timber game, and it is not a fun Timber game. It's not going to be any better. It's not going to be any better unless he decides to go for something like a BKB to keep him safe from all of this heavy nuke. He might just have to, you know, you need to be hassling around in the front line, bullying Unique and enabling this Medusa to throw in more right clicks. So I guess BKB is not a bad option. We'll see if he decides to go for it. But he needs to have something that allows him to stay in the fight. Lotus Orb, I think, is also another great pickup. What do you think?
Lotus Orb I like for the armor, which is not an issue until later on. You're really all versus the magic damage and the disables here. So what he's instead got queued up, which is the halberd over here with a Sanj, going to make sure that these stuns last less long, as well as the eventual disarm versus either the Lina or the Luna is going to do a lot for him. A little bit of evasion. I like that pickup.
Dude, I think this is exactly what we're looking for. Disrupting Unique a little bit, making Luna's life a little bit harder as well with the halberd. Since you're not able to right-click, that means the Timber can stay a little longer in the area too. That helps out the rest of the team. But sniping AA Blast, suspecting a low HP Medusa to be on the Ancients. It's on the right spot, but wrong timing. 12 minutes also comes in. Illusion Rune on the top, just going to get quickly denied.
And I want to show here, by the way, that Team Empire actually brought Petushara down bottom, which is the place where Unique was most likely going to make their next move. They are fully utilizing him as a punching bag here. It's like, all right, you need to put 4 heroes in this lane to kill him again. Do it.
He's also afraid. He's also afraid. Like, doesn't take the second wave on the lane. He just transitions rather into jungle. It's not the... Yeah, it's not the cocky Timbersaw who's pushing tier 2s at 15 minutes. Instead, he's in the jungle right now. So he has taken the tier 1 tower, but sometimes it just feels that the Timber's only job is destroy that one tower and your job is done in this draft, kind of. Sometimes it feels like that.
Look at what it did for this team, man. Depressed Kid was absolutely mauled in that mid lane. He is nearly back up to the Lina's net worth. It's really not that far away. He's got a Blink Dagger looking for action right now. They're not going to find any action.
I think the action's going to be in bottom. Let's say they're patrolling through the jungle. Seiyu steeping on the tier 2 tower. Petushara onto the tower. We have Depressed Kid coming in. The smoke ends. They see Palantimos. Epicenter charged up. They see him. And good night, Petushara. How the RP comes out, but it's right on top of the Ice Blast. And a massive amount of damage comes through as they are both deleted from this. Seiyu goes for the snipe. Doesn't quite connect. They're still scouting him in the trees. As we also have Bambi throwing in a couple of spears on the area as well. Slayer still keeping vision, but I think the rest of the buddies are a bit too slow to follow. Maybe on Vanscore's Enchantress maybe overstayed a little bit. Yep.
From downtown.
Indeed, and Unique are... they are the masters at the moment. 9-2, 2k lead, and another set of 3 kills.
And they're riding this equilibrium perfectly right now, or I should say this wave almost, this tempo, because that's what they need to do. Again, they need to have so much damage that it doesn't matter if they get disabled sometimes, that there is some, you know, feeble protestings from Team Empire. That gotta keep running over them with this steam waltz, because they have so much power.
Yeah, it's a steam waltz indeed right now. Let's try to keep up with that. Empire really afraid. They're playing on their own side of the map, and
getting punished.
Depressed Kid is really feeling it right now. Ghost Stick goes down though. The Ice Blast ticks are gonna be enough. And also get the TP out so they don't lose the Willow. If they trade a Sand King for the mid Magnus, and that's death number 3. Rough. Somebody hear a dog.
Poor Depressed Kid.
Dire's structures are fortified.
Maybe a therapy dog.
Dire's middle tower taking
This
damage.
poor guy once he's done with the game.
They are trying to
They're not
pressure
ready
mid,
to-
though.
Exactly. They're not ready to give up here. They have Smiling Knight. He's got Yasha Dragonlance, so he's quite tanky right now, and they're ready to use him in that traditional Medusa battering ram type of role, where
Yeah.
she's not here to deal damage. She's just here to frontline, and you're going to have to walk around her.
How much time can Empire buy for their Medusa? Because
My sprites are
even with all these pickoffs that Unique are picking, they still have only taken one tower in this game. They use Heavy Center and Bedlam, both on Van Score. They do rip that deer apart.
chance.
That's probably just annoyance. They really don't need the epicenter there.
Yeah.
Oh man, now we gotta right click her? No, thank you.
Like,
I'll
oh, now
wait
you're
a
just
minute
showing
until
off.
that-
Like, that was not needed. But Medusa's still looking healthy, and I will return to my previous topic about the how much space can they create for this Medusa. So with all these pickoffs Unique's been getting, only one tower has fallen, and Medusa's still fine. She's keeping up with farm against the Luna. Luna, who had alright decent lane, didn't die at all, was able to transition into the jungle without the Timbersaw being that much of an issue. And it feels like the rest of the team got enabled by that because it allowed them to go hunting for the Timber more and more. Plus, this Lina is very active on online, so I think when this BKB finishes, Unique's probably gonna go in a continue the Steam Waltz in about maybe 5 minutes or so, I guess.
Something like that, yes. And it doesn't look like Team Empire are planning to do anything against that. The vision that they have is pretty defensive, just making sure they get to play on their own side of the map. If they want to actually get aggressive vision out right now, they would have to throw some heroes at these lanes and push them out to make space for a smoke. As the press kit, oh
To be in this man's head right now, you could find some amazing
Radiant have fortified their towers.
no. Tragedies?
tragedies wasn't the word I was looking for. I would say discoveries, maybe, in this case. As he has to contemplate a little bit after this one. They are coming to defend this mid tower, though. Ghostic misses the stun.
Ernest.
Very low level supports on Team Empire, so they know that one mistake is going to lead into losing this tower. So Smiling Knight takes the front line. They are able to force out Unique. Again, they get a kill, but can't get to an objective. Still need to wait.
Not yet.
Not yet, indeed.
Forcing these reactions, making sure the Team Empire is constantly clumped up around that mid tower, then spreading out again. Even if they're not breaking through just yet, they're controlling where Team Empire goes on this map. And they're threatening every time that Empire splits up, they can get picked off.
Hello shows up in mid. Doesn't quite pull out the Terrorize. They've been playing. I like this combo that they've been playing. Burrow Strike into the stationary route, because you know where the route is going to be when you've played Willow a couple games, and then you have the Ice Blast coming on top, so it's a lot of damage. And since Empire's heroes, well, at least the supports are pretty squishy.
They're smoking onto Palantimos. He's
This is a
all
good
alone
play.
here.
RP all alone. There's no shrine, no nothing to TP to. They're going to lose Palantimos. So there's light at the end of the tunnel for Team Empire. However, talk about light. Bombies dragged into hell once again.
As like, if this play is made and these reactions happen, then Palantimos can go that deep on the bot lane. But he can't just show up on a wave there before his team has already gathered the reactions and the information on top. That's gonna get punished, so.
Yep.
Empire strikes back.
Empire strikes back maybe at some point. We both were favoring the Empire draft, but right now it just needs more time. Team Unique's on a very good run right now. They found Enchantress Bignum there with the root stun. This will keep on happening.
Yeah, she's not tanky versus all of this magic damage.
Yep. Just look at these stats on Unique side. 503 Lina, 607 Willow, 118 AA. Like, even the AA has only died once this game. And here comes another one. They've got the Medusa. That's a massive kill. And Team Unique say thank you for that. They've got Petushara. FN misses the stun, though, but they have the Yules. Burrow Strike should be available. And Timbersaw gonna need some help, but I don't think it's gonna arrive on time unless he survives with the Timber Chain. They're gonna lose this tower nevertheless. But that Medusa death, that's Kips. That's something that Empire was not allowed to give.
Definitely not. And this also means that now Unique, they have been working around at Medusa,
don't mind
being
me.
a little bit
Just a
scared of
wee
her
baby
perhaps, a
going
little
about
bit
her
too
business.
respectful. Now they know that they can get through her.
Regeneration.
All they need to do is get that Eclipse on top of her and the Medusa just melts. At the very least, they did not get to leave any aggressive vision over on Unique. So the aggression is not going to be immediately followed up again. Team Empire still gets some time out of this, but you'd rather not buy that time with the most expensive hero on the board.
Yeah, as well. And I talked about in the 16-minute mark about the BKB that Lena's about to have in the next 5 minutes. Well, she has the money for it right now. So that took 4.5 minutes to start basically finishing that BKB. Probably 6 minutes in total, as the Ogre Club was already in her inventory before that. So great timing. And I think this is where Unique really start pushing and then scores. You don't even need the Ice Blast. This is a slaughter.
It is, and in a less good of a Lina game, I might have given some comments about going to Yules before the BKB, where it's going to slow your BKB timing down, where you're going to be about a Yules in gold behind by the time you get to that BKB finally. Or by the time you'd want the BKB because the enemy is revving up, but this enemy draft is not revving anywhere.
Yeah. Actually, out of curiosity, would you ever rant a player on your team for a wrong item decision? Or would you just abide with the player just going with something?
No, like you see, you have the other 4 players to do that.
Exactly. Yeah, that's true. That's true. Don't think the coach needs to be there like, why did you not get a Yules?
It's like, I mean, sometimes it's necessary if somebody really doesn't want to listen, but you're all there to criticize each other to improve, right? If you've created the right atmosphere.
Yeah.
So it shouldn't take, mum to come from upstairs.
Yeah. Unless it's Sir Action Slacks. But Petushara sniped away, and that's another one in the books. Team Unique. They probably want to look for something more. Ghostic waddles on top of this high ground. No one to be seen. Team Empire have fled into the trees, into the retreats, and Smiling Knight, you might be too late for this one. Oh no. What you gonna do? Stone Gaze on the spots. Get stunned up. Feared and waiting for his team to arrive. Meanwhile, the rest, Ghostic is keeping them away from the Medusa as everybody collapses on top. Overstayed your welcome there. Not sure if Medusa had a TP on cooldown or something, but this was definitely a bit of a late TP. Not much you can do.
Yeah, not much you can do indeed. I think she just didn't quite see the danger coming. Also, her team was pretty close to her. They might have been discussing if they were going to fight.
Well, we've seen this story before.
I'll do better next time.
I'll do better next time was the Enchantress voice line after that. Like, how many times have we seen this? I don't think it can get any better for Bombi here.
Maybe they eventually start focusing her cores instead of her. It's still not a great outcome for her regardless.
It's about bloody time they changed targets. 19 kills for Team Unique. The graph, well, without a doubt, is on their side. XP almost at 10k. That's quite a lot at 23 minutes. Medusa still level 17. Scotty almost picked up with the Manta. So still more time needed. Gotta start winding those wristwatches.
Still no damage though. I'm actually surprised that Team Unique did not go into the Roche pit right there. Maybe they didn't want to risk it with RP still on the board. But nonetheless, it does mean that now they have to find some more pickoffs before they can try for that Roshan and maybe try for that high ground later on.
They're all smoked up in mid. And here comes the reveal. Yules, Magnus thrown into the air. BKB is ready, but doesn't get it quite off because the Burrow Strike already flies through. But does get the chance to move Ghostic into the back. Petushara has the Whirling Death, does a lot of damage on the Sand King, and they find the first kill. But they did use the Stone Gaze, and Depressed Kid still dies to the AA debuff. So that's a lot of damage that was dealt onto the Magnus. Nevertheless, 1 for 1. Still might be another engagement. Round 2, ding, ding, ding. Rounds as FN walks on the high round, but instantly gets KO'd by this bushwhack. They're just going to walk into Roche.
Yeah. That Hoodwink may have won the round right there, but definitely not the match.
Yep.
They have to play so carefully here. They don't actually have the stone gaze. They don't have any of their AoE abilities ready to contest this pit. They should just let it go. And yeah, they're dispersing.
Dispersing and giving this one up. 25 minutes. First age is picked up for Palatimos, the Luna player.
He's going to finish his Scotty very soon as well, bringing the courier to the shop right now. And once that Scotty is up, it's time to let them glaives bounce through the enemy base. I think they're going to
Thank God.
be there
Radiant's
or
courier
be
is gone.
square.
At last,
Seiyu, he
peace
wants to
may
cut a wave here.
return to these lands.
He's
Some
playing
people
with fire.
do. Oh. Do they? They had a guess, and they find that score.
Oh, fan score.
Radiant's top tower
Hard
is
to
under
say much
siege.
to that, but
There's
that's
this-
it's you know it is
their
painful to
top
watch,
tower.
but probably for Empire as well. They still have hopes, even with all of this blundering that they've been taking this game.
Radiant's top tower is
They
being
still have a
attacked.
chance, because as long as your racks ain't fallen, there's still... And Medusa's still decent with mega creeps in your base. It's just when does the Medusa start packing a punch? And Unique's 4-range strat hero, 4-range strat is actually working.
It is working so far. They got good lanes, they got offense snowballing. But bringing it home is another thing, especially now that the Deuce had just finished up that Scotty as
Dire's
well.
bottom
Yeah.
tower under fire.
Yeah, that's a whole nother story,
Dire
trying
have
to
duct-taped
close in the
cardboard all
story.
over their structures. Radiant's middle tower is taking
Sometimes you
damage.
feel like you're writing such a
Dire's
masterpiece that
bottom tower is
you don't
being
know when to
attacked.
quit. You realize that maybe we've done a little bit too much in this case. But at least for now, Unique are holding a good grip of this game.
Tower for Radiant. Dire's
Closing up
bottom
on
tower
10k
is
being
falling.
ahead. They're taking over map control. Starting to take over this Radiant jungle as well. Leaving the triangle open for now, but they have wards placed down there if somebody were to show up.
This is a very important shrine to take, especially if you want to make the bottom push, because it means that you can actually
Dire's
bring heroes in
bottom
with the
tower
buybacks,
under fire.
if so necessary.
Radiant's bottom tower is being
And you can
attacked.
see the drawn arrows. They are on their way. One hero was spotted, 2 heroes were spotted, so let's quickly make our way there. Hopefully
Radiant's
we'll
bottom
find some
tower
stragglers.
under fire.
This is really feeling like
Bottom
bandits
tower
versus the
under
law.
fire.
They are arriving. Sirens are ringing.
Dire's bottom tower is being attacked.
Thieves have already fled.
And Petushara has been scouted out with the Ice Blast. Can he TP out? I think he will. This time the Willow's not nearby for the route. The rest of Empire now moving away onto the other side of the map. Go take back, go check out, are there any wards in the area? I think they're doing the right thing, moving as a quick, as a big bunch instead of giving any singular pickoffs here and there. I think the Timbersaw is still a hero that they can give away as soon as they get information about the opponents. But right now a clash might happen because they're both in the same area. They are smoked up. Defensive, actually, sorry, not smoked up, just invis on the Willow. As Empire in their own jungle.
Unique feels not quite ready to walk up high ground into a Medusa. Not if it's the base high ground, and not if it is this high ground in a jungle either. So Bignum gets some vision here, and they get the confirmation that yes, indeed, Empire is here, and they have already secured the area. It also means that you can get some free damage in on the tower and the racks right now, though.
Yep.
Radiant's middle tower
Palatimos
is taking
not
damage.
going on the high ground just quite yet, but they will get the tier 2 tower at
Last
least.
tower then.
Yep. Still 1 minute of Aegis.
Radiant's top
I mean,
tower
This
is
would
the fact
be-
that I'm surprised that this tower is still up means that Empire has actually been doing a great job
Radiant's
pushing
top
these
tower
waves
is
out.
fallen.
Unique didn't get to pushing that top tower down, even though they've now been in that top lane.
Yep.
This is the 3rd time they are here while this Aegis is on. And they finally pushed that tower down. Empire are
Indeed.
being super annoying right now.
They are being hard. They are hard to catch right now. So they're doing their role of bandit pretty well so far. 3 heroes still unkilled this game. One of them, Seiyu's Hoodwink. 2-0-4. And Empire smoke up. Is this the time to fight with the fresh Scotty on the Medusa? And they have a Solar Crest as well. They see the Willow, which could be a target. They have
should
the
see that.
outpost, and here we go. Shadowblade spotted. BKB quickly thrown out on top as they take down Slayer. That's 1. Need to get 4 more. Ghost Stick on the side. Terrorize doesn't quite force. They actually force up Petushara's BKB. He is on the front lines and instantly has to disengage, but this might be another one as they're trying to close in the gap and go back in. Medusa Illusions being a bit annoying here. Hoodwink already loses 50% of his HP pool, but Seiyu able to get out from this one. On the side is Big Num with the Willow, but can't quite catch anybody. Still a 5v4. The Aegis expires right now, and I think Unique, they have outlived this battle. And Empire comes out strong. They did use some BKB charges though, but it was necessary.
But Empire has weathered the storm of this Aegis without actually taking any base damage, without taking any significant losses. Even their economy does not look that bad right now. This is 11k, their supports are incredibly underfarmed, but at the same time, Smiling Knight is going into that Daedalus, and he's going to have it before the next Roshan fight, ideally.
Yep, despite this Timbersaw having an absolutely horrible early game, not much of his fault, more Unique's draft enabling them to kill this hero. He's still in the top 5 cores, above this SK by like 3,000 gold, so Timber's farming capability has sit in pretty well with this team, with the Magnus and the Medusa taking the majority of the farm. Not the greatest CS number for Medusa at 341, but still good. Like, nowhere far below the average line. So Crystal is picked up, going for a Daedalus. Is Daedalus the damage item you were looking for, Kips?
Absolutely. Like, there are reasons because you're up versus a Luna to say, alright, fine, I'll build an MKB instead, because she's probably going to go Butterfly at some point. But they already saw pieces of the Satanic.
Trouble's
so
coming.
right now, all you want is just raw deeps.
Both teams smoked up. Unique coming in from the right. Empire moving towards the mid lane area. No targets around on either side of the map. Empire, I think they're just trying to stay nearby each other's. Use Petushara as a potential bait. The lanes are pushing in though, so I think this should be a warning call for Unique, as well as nobody's defending this top lane.
There's some yeah.
Still about 15 damage per Luna Illusion right click on that tower, so we'll do a couple hundred points of damage.
Radiant's top tower is under siege.
Those might be important points as well.
It's double damage.
Concerning the future, but yep, DD is there. No deny.
10-1
FN is around the area. Beautiful stun from Ghostic, and this enables the fight as well as Ghostic. He might have taken a bit too much to chew, but FN, the BKB will be used. The Ice Blast coming in as well, but he will miss completely. Not hit anybody. The Stone Gaze comes out from Smiling Knight, now on the chase. Petushara closing up on the Unique team as well. They have Luna stoned completely as Ghostic gets sniped away by Seiyu. There is a Bedlam used, but that looks like it's just a defensive one as Petushara gets forced away. BKB teleport out, and Team Empire come out stronger on this one.
Once again, that could have been way worse for Unique right there when the Luna gets caught, but luckily Team Empire lineup is very passive still. You can see that they're waiting for Unique to make the wrong move and then counter engage, press that Medusa forward, trying to squeeze these all of these like still kind of squishy heroes apart and seeing if they can pick anybody off.
Yep. Roshan, 1 minute 30 seconds. It was 140, so we're talking about an average Rosh timer respawn. Nothing too special there.
Exactly to Smiling Knight's liking, because he's got that Daedalus nearly finished.
Yep. Gonna sit pretty well with the timing there.
Radiant's bottom tower
And the
is
final
being
tier 2
attacked.
tower about to fall on Team Empire's side of the map.
Dire's top tower is
They've
under
taken 3
siege.
towers for Team Empire has taken 3 towers, all tier 1s. Not that much. They've just had to suffice with waiting for a bigger team fight to break off that they might win and then start taking objectives. So they're taking their time. They're chilling for now.
Dire's top tower is under siege.
Time has always been on their side.
Yep.
Radiant's bottom tower
Yeah,
under
that clock we were talking about in Unique's pocket starting to sound like a Geiger what a radar or whatever it's called. I don't remember the exact name
counter.
for it. Counter, yeah, that's the one. It's starting to crackle a little bit.
top tower is
Sound of a
being
warning.
attacked.
It's not bad yet. Not bad, not terrible. No.
Yeah, exactly.
Dire's
The
top
radiation
tower
is still at
under
acceptable levels. But
It is. And
another tower
if
about
they
to
get
fall.
1-1 fight, this Luna is going to absolutely destroy Empire's
Dire's
base,
top
and they have
tower
this
is
game under
being
control again.
attacked.
But This is balancing on a knife's edge right now, even though it only looks to be about
Yep.
one Medusa standing between them and victory.
Yep. Seiyu TP's out in the trees, but the Yules is going to be there. AA Blast, and that is going to be death number 1. Dominating streak is gone from Seiyu, and it goes into the hands of FN. The Lina with the Daedalus, and Roshan has just spawned, so this is good for Unique. This is bad for Empire.
Oh,
They're
yeah.
ready for it though. They
They're-
are around the area. Do they know? These illusions should reveal the
Buyback
plan.
from Hoodwink.
Yep, Hoodwink buyback. This is exactly the right call. Empire, they're going to contest this. Magnus gets a beautiful RP on the back line, but do they have any follow-up on this? He does the BKB full. He pushes them towards Team Empire. Stone Gaze coming out, but it's not going to be a great one as Ghost Stick, the Aeon Disc will pop, and he's slowly taking down, but it will live through this. Palativas with the BKB pops his Eclipse as well. The Charoite, the Ice Blast is coming in, and Medusa's gonna fall! Medusa, the big damage dealer, is out, and Empire are losing heroes one after the other, with only the Magnus and the Hoodwink alive. They didn't get enough with that RP, and Unique, they saw their moments arise, and they take this one.
It's the first time in the game that Empire actively needs to move into a situation. They can't actually afford to let the Luna get that shard, get that Aegis. And right now, look at that. She's
Ooh.
not even taking the
Look at
Aegis.
that. Look at that chat
Just giving
timer
it to
right
a fan.
there. That's
Oh.
Roche timers right there.
Yeah. Fanscore
Fine.
doing his job.
Yep.
Radiant's
Yes,
middle
but
tower
I don't think that matters that much in this case. Both teams know it. Betushara stunned up on the high ground. Yules will be able to dodge the Ice Blast damage, but has the debuff on him. That will be enough. A breakthrough. Timber's not been enjoying this game. This was a first phase Timber saw, and it feels like there's at least 3 counters on the Unique's team against it.
barracks are under attack. Radiant's middle
It is, yes,
barracks
which is why they went into the Medusa, right? All he had to do was buy enough time, but the
Yep,
fact
yep.
that they weren't quite in position for that Roche,
has fallen.
that they have to go in instead of sitting there waiting for Unique to make a mistake, that's the painful part.
Radiant's bottom tower
And we'll
is
use the cheese on
demolished.
FN, bring this this Lina back to full HP. Luna's just fine.
Radiant's bottom barracks has fallen.
And also holds the Aegis plus who got the Ags buff is my big question. Is it
The shard went to
looks like it's
to
the
Luna, I
AA who
believe.
has it. At least the pressed kids. Okay. It's a nice stun there from Medusa Stone Gaze, but without the Magnus, this fight just became a whole lot harder. And FN will slowly start punching through that mana shield. And as soon as that mana is gone, that hero also falls. It's a GG call from Smiling Knight. They've had enough of this bloodbath. Unique, they control it from start to finish. Empire, they only had a small hope of winning this game.
They did, and I do think that they played it really very well. But the press kid just lost his mid lane really too hard. You can't let the Lina get off to such a good start, because that means that the Magnus had to sit in the jungle, where ideally you would have had him moving around the map, making plays while this Medusa takes that farming space instead. But they had to smear it out over all of their heroes. They had to smear out all of their heroes over the map in order to, you know, keep those waves pushed out and keep the gold advantage for Unique in check. And eventually, that Steam Waltz still rolled right on over them.
Yeah, the lanes didn't really go in Empire's favor. They had a hard time pulling through, and also I feel like the Lina Magnus matchup, as you mentioned, and as we really witnessed, Depressed Kid was not happy with how the early game went and had pretty much no impact in this game. Or I'm now starting to think, did the matchups go correct, or was this a drafting fault at some point? Because you can't really do much about your first phase, but could it have been a different last pick than the Magnus? Because the Magnus definitely seemed like the weakest link.
Yeah, they picked him into a very hard matchup here, but if a player says that he can do that, that he can come out, you know, even Magnus can supplement in the jungle, he can kill these waves that the Lina is going to push into you, it does not have to go this badly, but he really got his centaur ass handed to him.
Pretty much. Well, we are done with game number 1. Team Unique, they run over this one. How's it gonna be in game number 2? You might as well check out bts.gg/matemate as you're at it, as we take a tiny commercial break, and we will be back in a few minutes.